Hello, you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch the Dare to Dream Network. I'm streaming this live. It's been a while. I've been silent. I've been quiet. I've, due to a lot of recent events and other things happening in my life, I have not been as vocal as I've normally been when certain issues arise, and um, all of it is within good reason. Um, with the many things that I'm dealing with between family, personal life, health, so much stuff. So I don't want to provide excuses, but those are just realities of my situation. Aside from that, um, these police shootings have gotten out of control. We all know that. We see the evidence of what has happened in the recent days and so forth. It is just very distasteful. It's hurtful. It causes a lot of different types of uproars. There are people operating, thinking with good intention that they're protesting and all of that is going to do something, but I'm not trying to attack anyone. It's my disclaimer. I'm not trying to attack anyone by creating this video. I am not pro a particular movement, any movement. The only movement that I'm for is for the progression of Black people as a nation and for this nation that we call America. Um, I realize making this video that the work starts with you. The work starts with us. And so um, I made a personal commitment. I've already been, I don't want to say a poster person or spokesperson or advocate. I've already been in the work as a minister, as a community leader of helping to resolve social ills. And my background being in the church contributed to that. Historical leaders that I deeply admire and hold a lot of their convictions have been a part of shaping that area of my life. My own personal life, some certain things that I've had to face in my life has contributed to me becoming the person that I am and the leader that I am. And having said that, not everyone has that privilege in the African American community. And there's just like so many emotions up in the air in this moment when I think about the police shootings and things, because right now, everyone is feeling that heartbeat. Everyone is feeling um, that calling, so to speak, to be active, to be a part of this movement, to do something that really gets America's attention, that really gets leadership's attention. And the problem that I'm having is how disorganized a lot of these movements are. I don't want to particularly name or label a particular movement, but we all know the Black Lives Matter, the things that I'm hearing over the news, things that I'm seeing. Last night, they just made progress in the city of Atlanta. And we're going to continue to call it progress until I see something different. Um, the mayor agrees to meet with people. But the problem I have with these protests, we're supposed to be protesting because we want folks to stop killing Black people. Is that right? Okay, so when you finally do get the attention of a city official or leader, why are you talking about other issues that are unrelated to the cause that provoked you to march in the first place? That's what I would love to understand. And I understand that when you have, quote, the king's attention, you give him everything while you have that moment because you don't know when you're going to get that moment again. I get it. I understand. But the reason why a lot of these protests, these marches and so forth really don't get anywhere is one, they're disorganized. There's no true leadership. You know, it's just so much that could be said. Another reason why I am feeling some type of way when it comes to these police shootings is because um, you have two black men within a 48-hour period killed, people in the uproar, people are protesting, so forth. And then you have the Houston sniper who chooses to take his US military training and basically a single man going to war um, in anger and hurt over watching his people be killed. I'm not saying he's right for what he did, but not everybody is going to um, respond the same or have the same sensibility to talk out issues, to march, to express themselves in whatever way possible. Everyone is not going to do that. However, to sit there on the news, more than I've seen several broadcasts and videos and all of that, but to sit there on the news and call this a heinous, um, hideous slaying and this and that and whatever, as if the people who were killed a few days ago were not slain in a vulgar, hideous, and nasty way. That's what my problem is. No, those innocent police officers, they don't have anything to do with what happened in New Orleans or Minnesota. And yes, they were slain ridiculously. And I think part of the bigger picture or the statement of what this young man did by snapping and killing these police is, you're not going to keep killing us and coming for us when you have the authority to arrest us and so forth and take our freedom and our livelihood away. You don't have to kill us to do that. And we all know that African Americans are specifically targeted more than anybody else, in any other minority. I don't want to sit here. I could be here all day and all night talking about the differences and the ways of racism and so many other things. And to be honest with you, I'm so tired of people using the label of racism as this is America's only problem. There are so many problems within this cesspool of what's happening in our news and media right now that is ridiculous. It's not just about the color of people's skin anymore. We have several problems wrapped up into this one issue that just happened recently. And part of it is economics. Part of it is people's feeling of disparity and hopelessness. You are the quote, land of the free, home of the brave, the American dream, and all of that. But it's more of an American nightmare when you are an entrepreneur or you are a business owner or individual trying to make strides to achieve things in business and so forth. And you have to jump over these huge hurdles, have all these particulars together. People can't get common support to support themselves as an individual, much less support a family, much less try to support a business. You go to your bank right now and try to get support to start a business, an organization, or something, the likelihood when you are living, in the hood, you'll be denied. So I don't want to over sensationalize everything, but it just goes to show you how we have so many imbalances going on, and it don't have anything to do with the color of your skin. Some of it is the the credit score that you have. Some of us can't help the credit score that we have. We've done a lot to try to save, do things, best investments with our money and so forth and so on. And we have to live. We have ourselves to take care of, we have families, we have bills. And I'm speaking from the perspective of an entrepreneur who is out there making things happen the best way that I know how. I am Philando. I am Alton Sterling. It could have been me out there selling my CDs, my books, and so forth. It could have been me in the city of Atlanta. And those of you that are watching that know or don't know the work that I do with the homeless, I could have been pulled over and stopped by a police officer supposing I'm doing something wrong. And this is the point that I'm trying to make. And besides that, it could have been me out there doing the good work, being who I am in the community, feeding the homeless and so forth, and shot on Peachtree and Pine, because that's what they do here. So when you see me post, help support the homeless, help me reach my goals and stuff, that stuff is serious. I'm taking money and finances out of my own pocket to hit the streets to feed the homeless, selling candy bars, doing whatever I can to raise money, not for myself, but for people that are out there that really need help. I mean, there's so much stuff going on. And I'm talking about my issues. I'm talking about um, what's happening in the news. Why? Because I feel it's relevant to the everyday struggle of both a person of my caliber and my status, and as well as a person who is out there working, striving to be better, down to the Alton Sterling who is willing to hustle, sell CDs, and I'm not even trying to be disrespectful or funny, but whether if he was out there selling his behind or selling drugs, it's no different. And the reason I say it's no different is because when you're out there hustling and you're trying to make it, part of what people seemingly don't get to understand is, if he had better options, because I find it very funny that people can pull up his criminal history and do all this stuff to prove a point that he's such a bad person and was on his way down this road anyway. It does not matter what his history is. And in that moment of his death, he had no weapon on him. All he was doing was selling CDs to support five children, five children, and a wife. That's six people. And if you include him, that's seven people you have to provide for. And he's shot down in the street. Now, suppose there were more programs in our communities and in our neighborhoods and in our towns and in our cities and in our states that help small business people. To the average person, they may not view what he's done or was doing as a business, but it is. It's the only way he may know to stay afloat. I'm no different from him. When I'm selling my books, my CDs, sermons, and so forth, that's me. I'm trying to stay off the street. I could easily live a very different life. And when people have no options, they do what they know to do to survive. But we criminalize everything, we judge everything, we act as if we just know everything. And what's really happening right now is our nation, our people, we need answers to a lot of social ills. It's not America needs to make a greater change, not just in one state or in one city, but for the entire nation that we call the land of the free and the home of the brave. Let's make the American dream real again by restoring our cities. And a lot of people want to put stuff off on the church that we don't have the leaders that we used to have. I agree. We just don't. You know why? Because people attack the church, they tear the church apart, they try to criminalize the church, they try to make everybody an adulterer and a child molester or a pervert or whatever. This is what we've done over the past few years. So, I mean, who's going to follow anyone from the church? The church is losing its voice in all this noise. And at this point, it doesn't matter who chooses to be a leader in this era, in this time, in this generation. I don't care if they're religious, I don't care if they're Muslim, I don't care what they are, but we all need to raise our voice. We all need to do our part. And the best way to do your part is not just to sit back and think that going for another walk in the park and protesting down the street is going to be all the answer. Okay, when you finally get people's attention, what is it that you're going to say? What point is it that you're trying to prove? Yes, we all know folks need to stop killing Black men. We know that. So, what's going to be the solution that you present as you march? What's the answers when you get the attention of the governor and the mayor and the police chief and all these people? What are the solutions that you're offering as an answer to this? That's what people need to be thinking about. And while they're protesting and while they're bombarding people with letters and writing this person and that person and tweeting this and tweeting that, that's what needs to be worked on. And largely in our communities, the church, everyone from the church to the non-religious person in this moment needs to be working on building the community. And that means by any means, whether if it comes to a religious system or a community organization or program that's going to enrich young people. I mean, everyone that is living and breathing within our minority or African American community needs to be enriched. We need centers for our children, not just to go after school program or whatever. We need centers with enrichment outlets for people to go to or whatever. These are part of the answers we need. You want a better community and you want change and all of that, but it starts with us. We got to do it with our children. We got to be active, proactive. How many people can say that you're actively a part of your family's lives, your nieces, nephews, your children? It takes a lot. It honestly does, to stand up and be better. And it has to start with you. Raising your voice when these things happen, wonderful. But you have to be the best person that you can be on an everyday basis. You don't get breaks. How do I change the Black community? By being there for my nephew, this person, that person, everyone. Being the best example I can be when I see error in someone's life. Being an example, not just preaching to them what they're wrong. They already know they're doing wrong, but being an example that there's a better way. Showing them that there's a better way, pointing them in the right direction. That's how we make change. And it's not going to happen just from going for another walk. We, as a people, have to build systems. Systems. I can't go to the bank and request money to help me build the organization that I'm building. So I have to figure that thing out. I have to make sacrifices. I have to do all types of stuff. It's hard out here. And it's not getting any better. So we, as a people, there's a lot of different Black movements going on, some for entrepreneurship, some for Black Lives Matter. My only point is it's time for us to do what we need to do to vocalize our mission and our purpose. We need to be breathing that every day, that it's so common that when you're seen or when you're heard, everyone knows who you are and what you do. You have to broadcast your vision the way it is necessary. And you have to build an image and a brand around what you do. If I called Jesse Jackson, everybody knows why I'm calling Jesse Jackson to step in for my case. If we called Al Sharpton, everybody knows what Al Sharpton does. And that's what these movements need to look like. People can't support something when it's all over the place. Everybody has a different agenda. Each group leader, we're all using the same name, but we all want to do and say something different. In other words, what I'm saying, these movements need to get more organized. We have a lot to say about what we don't want people to do. You don't want them to shop certain places. You don't want them to do this and that or whatever, but you also need to provide options. And when you start getting down to the nitty gritty of who owns what and who does what, it just goes back to show you how much work is needed in our community. I'm not saying that there aren't options out there, but I'm telling you, they're so slim that it makes it hard for people to pick and choose what they want to be a part of and what they want to support. We have work to do as a nation, as a people, that goes far beyond another protest, another march, and all of that. We need to start building our families. We need to start being a little bit more active in our families. We need to start protecting our families and bringing back the sanctity of family the way we used to. The Sunday dinners. If that's what brought people together, we just go back to doing that. When it didn't matter what your religion was, we all got together as family on Sunday. We all knew that. We all did that. We need to get back to what really matters and cut out all this other foolery. And I'm trying so hard to keep my speech clean because I'm telling you, everybody's feeling it right now. Everybody's feeling that heartbeat. Oh my God, I got to do something. Need to make a change. I need to participate in something that's going to change or make history in this time. This is crazy. We all feeling that. But more importantly, we all need a leader and we all need leadership. And there needs to be someone who helps people. Seriously. And I promise you, it ain't nobody I want to talk to, phone ringing and everything. But more importantly, we need leadership that's going to represent us as a people and stop being divided and segregated over all types of stuff. And that's all I really came on this video to talk about is the state of our Black people as a nation, the police shootings. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But more importantly, the change starts in you and with you. So in whatever way possible that you can be a voice in your community, whatever way possible you can promote um, change in your community that is positive for the African American community, do that and be that. If it takes sacrificing of creating your own business or starting a nonprofit organization for a particular cause, whatever it takes, do it. Because nobody is going to rescue us. Nobody's going to have enough pity. A lot of stuff is not going to change. You know, every culture in these Americas have a sense of unity, have a sense of union, have a sense of brotherhood, sisterhood that is embedded in them that they're governed by. And when tragedies like this happen in other cultural communities, they band together, they get answers, they demand answers, they put their money on the table. A lot of things happen because of the strength of them coming together. And the sad part is you have people raising their voice, you have people running around for different causes in the African American community, but truth is we don't come together enough. It's like moments like these cause us to come together. And let's see 6 months from now, will the tension be this high? I promise you it won't. Most of us will have moved on and forgotten or whatever, and life is back to normal until the next person gets shot. The point I'm trying to make is don't let this be another situation of we started, we voiced our concerns, we're fighting, we're at war, we're this, we're that, and then we go back to nothing. All I'm trying to say is if the change is going to happen, a march, okay, you get certain people's attention, you shut down the city, you do this, you do that. How many times are we going to keep doing that before someone says it's time to organize? Let's create organizations for our single Black mothers. Let's create organizations for our Black men. Let's create organizations for our Black children. Let's create organizations for our Black seniors. And let's go out here in the community and let's lead. A lot of us are not the people that our parents were and our grandparents were. A lot of us are educated. A lot of us are blessed. We have so much ahead of us and for us, or positive in our favor, even with some of the limitations that we have to face in the area of getting support. I mean, we are in a generation where there's no excuse for why you're not better and you're not achieving more and you're not doing more. I mean, I could just go on and on all day. The point I'm trying to make is get organized, get centered around leadership that have clear objectives, not no all over the place. We just throwing shit, excuse my expression, at the wall and seeing what color comes out next. Get behind people that really have a mission and a purpose, that have clear objectives. You can support that and get behind that. You can calculate the changes and the goals that are being reached and accomplished with objectives like that. But you cannot support things where you just don't see no progress. There's a lot of protests that has happened over the last 3 years. Several people that has been killed over those 3 years. And every time we hit the streets and we're marching and we're doing this and we're doing that, but there's no change. Why isn't anyone going to state legislators, people who write the laws, who get things done? Why aren't people writing them and protesting and doing that? That's who you need to be targeting. Should you really want change? And for those of us that are out there that are educated enough, but are sitting somewhere in silence or just like, oh my God, I'm just not going to get involved, that needs to stop. Especially for those of us that work in areas that should influence change in the events and things that's happening. Those of us that went to school for law, etc. I mean, I could go on and on. I just needed to make this video to vent, or else I will bust. I'm trying to be comical, but I'm just so serious. I'm so serious. The hits just keep on coming. Phone ringing over there, phone ringing over here. I'm going to end this video. I just had to get that off my chest because I just don't know how much more I can take. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment in the comment section, and let's continue the conversation. Peace.